What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Another day, another injury, and this one is absolutely gutting, man. It really is. Look, we all feared the worst, didn't we, when Xavi went down? Well, to be honest, when he went down, I thought he was just doing his old Xavi thing, being on the ground, and it did come to light very quickly that it was a serious injury. A lot of people coming online saying it's an ACL, it's an ACL. Well, it is an ACL. And Spurs confirmed it last night, and this is what they said on social media. We can confirm Xavi Simmons has ruptured the anterior cruciate ligament in his right knee. The 23-year-old suffered the injury during the second half of our Premier League fixture at Wolverhampton on Saturday. Xavi will undergo surgery in the coming weeks, and following that, will begin his rehabilitation with our medical team. Everyone at Tottenham sends Xavi our love and support. We will be with him every step of the way. And he's also put a statement online as well, saying that they say life can be cruel, and today it feels that way. My season has come to an abrupt end, and I'm just trying to process it. Honestly, I'm heartbroken. None of it makes sense. All I've wanted to do is fight for my team, and now that ability has been snatched away from me, along with the World Cup, representing my country this summer, just gone. It will take time to find peace with this, but I'll continue to be the best teammate I can be. I have no doubt that together we'll win this fight. I'll walk the path now, guided by faith, with strength and resilience, with belief as I count down the days of getting back out there. Be patient with me. Trust the process. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, man, it's absolutely gutting because, not just for him, for us, for everyone. He was, obviously had a brilliant performance against Brighton, got that assist, got that goal, and you thought, he could be that hero from now to the end of the season to really save us from relegation. As long, he's not going to be at the World Cup as well, which is absolutely gutting for him. He could have played a big part for the Netherlands. It's just gutting, man. The whole thing is just absolutely gutting. It's just one thing after another, isn't it? Like, how many ACLs have we had in the past year or two? This season alone, Maddison's done it, Odebear's done it, Xavi Simmons, Dragoshin last season, Bentancur the year before. I mean, it's just like never ending. It really is.
Perisic. It's brutal, absolutely brutal, the injuries that we are now undergoing at this football club. Like, how is any sort of club supposed to compete with, and move forward with these kind of injuries consistently happening and such kind of long-term, like the most brutal injuries you can have, and we're consistently getting them year after year, unbelievable number. In terms of Xavi, I feel so bad for him. Obviously, we all wish him a speedy recovery. I really hope all goes well. We have seen players his age, have ACLs. We saw Wirtz have one. We've seen players come back from ACLs who've had it early in their career. So hopefully it doesn't hamper him too much for the future. But similar to Odebear, where it just looked like he was getting it running ahead of steam. It just looked like things were clicking for him. And then he did that ACL against Aston Villa in the FA Cup. Same with Xavi. He just had that great performance against Brighton. Looked like he was potentially going to be our talisman for the last few games of the season. If we were going to have a chance of staying up, everyone was saying it relies on Xavi providing those moments of magic. And now even he has gone down with an ACL. And it's not, as we said, it's not even like an injury that rules him out to the end of the season. It rules him out for 9 months, maybe even more. Absolutely cruel. It's so cruel on him, and it's going to take a lot of toll on him physically and mentally. We've seen that with a lot of players who've picked up that injury. So wish him all the best. I hope he stays strong. I hope he gets all the right support, because it's going to be a long journey ahead of him to get back to full fitness. And we've seen it with Maddison. He did it back in July, a long time ago. He's still only just coming back from it now. It is a brutal injury, and I really hope he's doing okay. I really hope, he gets through it unscathed. But in terms of how this affects us, I mean, it's just a body blow. I was saying after the Sunderland game, Romero, his injury, that's one of the final nails in our coffin. And then since then, we've had a doggy injury. Solanke's gone down with a muscle injury. Let's hope he's not too long. And now Simmons is out for the rest of the season. I mean, how much more can we take without that being the reason that we're going down. You know what I mean? Like, how much more can this squad suffer before, you know, it's breaking point? We're past breaking point, aren't we?
Look, you said it was a body blow and it was a season definer that Romero got injured, but the reality is, since that Romero injury, we've probably picked up more points than we have in the previous 3 months. So I think this Xavi one is a real blow. This is a much bigger blow for me than Coutinho Romero, just because of what he brings to this team in terms of attacking output. We've got no one that can provide what Xavi Simmons can provide. And yeah, I get it, you know, with Romero's passing out the back and stuff, but we need players with X factor in that forward line. And no one else has it. Nobody else can do what Xavi did for us against Brighton. There's nobody in the squad that can do that. So we were finding it hard to score goals with Xavi in the team. We're going to find it nigh on impossible to score goals without Xavi in the team. The stats speak for itself as well in terms of when Xavi has played, when Xavi hasn't played, in terms of what games we've won and games we've lost. I don't have we even won a game without Xavi in the Premier League this season, starting.
Well, before he came, we won a couple, didn't we? Rather than that.
I'm talking about since he's joined. I don't know if we have.
Not off the top of my head.
It's
Maybe
madness.
Palace away? Was he playing in that game?
It's just mad. The whole thing is just madness. Like, how can this club get so many ACL injuries? It's unheard of. It really is unheard of. 3 in one season is like incomprehensible.
I think there was a study done, and I think teams in the Premier League average like 2 a decade. Like every 10 years they get 2. We're getting 2 every few months. It's utter lunacy. It's craziness. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of blame people want to throw around, and we'll get into why we think maybe it's happening, but just the bare fact of it is happening is utterly ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous situation. And how are you supposed to plan for the future? How are you supposed to compete against, you know, teams in the Premier League, where it's the most competitive league right now, with every team, whether they got lots of money or whatever, every team is well run, well organised, have good quality players, and all your best players are consistently going down, not just for a few weeks, but years at this point. You know, we're missing season upon season. Our best players are missing due to long-term injuries. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with that situation?
And it's hampering us more than ever. You know, we finished 17th last season, and whatever anyone wants to say about the manager, about the tactics, about this or about that, injuries were the biggest thing that hampered us last season. And this season as well. Whatever you want to say about the manager, whatever you want to say about this, whatever you want to say about that, injuries are the biggest thing that are hampering us this season. I'm telling you, if we didn't have this massive injury crisis, we would not be where we are, regardless of Thomas Frank, Igor Tudor, or anything. So it's madness. You can just see it here on this graph. Yeah, just if you just make that big on full screen, just look how many injuries there are. Like, I've never seen that anything like that before.
More red than green.
It's mad.
It's insanity.
It's like, how many players there actually have just not had an injury this season?
Van der Ven, it seems, 1.
Matthijs Tel.
Xavi up until now.
Tel
and Van der Ven.
That's it.
And Kinski.
How mad is that? 3 players have stayed injury-free all season for us. That's it. 3 players.
And what's crazy is the players who've like been the most injury-free. You're looking at Richarlison, who's missed like 5 games, which is very rare for him, and Van der Ven. Those were 2 players who were known to be injury-prone in previous seasons.
Yeah.
And they've been relatively injury-free this season.
And you look at Manuel Solomon. He got injured the first 2 games of the season just off the back of us loaning him out, and he stayed injury-free the whole season. You know, we couldn't get him fit at all at Spurs.
Yep.
And you've got players, Sessegnon as well, and you've got players that barely had an injury before they joined Spurs. As soon as they joined Spurs, they're injury ravaged.
Correct.
It's just mental. It's just mental. Look at this. If you go to the next one, this is our squad pretty much now for the final 4 games of the season. Maybe out of those, a Doggy's going to be back, but the rest of them are pretty much out for the rest of the season. Potentially Maddison maybe for the last couple of games, but this is it. This is what we got to go with. And out of these players,
It's nuts.
You know what I mean? We got 3 players in the forward line for the last 4 games, so no changes off the bench.
Gallagher's not even
like
a
that.
10, and they put him in the 10.
Yeah.
He's not even a 10.
They were shoehorning him in there. So it's like, how are we supposed to win games with this?
It's insanity. I don't know. We're going to have to find something. You look at that front line, how, like, Rishi's been scoring, but Tell and Moani just haven't been scoring goals. Gallagher's not really a 10. Like, that forward line has just been absolutely decimated. Absolutely decimated. It's a incredible situation. I mean, it's how much more can we take? And, like, at the moment, as we've said, since De Zerbi's come in, we've had, I think, 6 injuries already since De Zerbi's come in. You've got Romero, Doggy, even Vicario was only announced when De Zerbi came. Well, his first game he missed was De Zerbi's first game. Sarr got injured, Kudus, now Xavi, Solanke. That's just in the last 3 weeks. It's insane. How are you supposed to cope with all these players going down? I don't understand how any team's expected to cope with such adversity. It's insane. We're gonna have to turn to maybe the academy or something. We're gonna have to find our Makeda, our Rooney, our Rashford, our
Tynan
Kane.
Thompson.
We're gonna have to try something, because at this point in time, we're at a loss. We are at the very bottom of the barrel right now in trying to find players who can just play in the forward line.
I'm surprised if we name a bench next week of just a vibes bench of Romero, Simmons,
Why not?
Maddison, Kulusevski, Solanke.
Apparently it doesn't matter if they're available.
You know what I mean? We're just going to Kudus, put them all on the bench just for vibes next week. It's mad. If you look at this next tweet from BLTHFC, this is just Spurs' attacking options this season. Solanke's missed 5 months of the season. Richarlison 6 weeks. Kudus 5 months and counting. Odebear 3 months and counting. Tell stayed fit the whole season. Xavi now with a 9-month plus injury. Maddison 9 months out and counting. Kulusevski 12 months out and counting. And Moani's been out for 6 weeks this season, who, by the way, never had an injury before he joined Spurs.
Yeah. And it's so brutal when it comes to specifically the number 10 position. We've both had Maddison and Decky out for now, over a year, or nearly a year for Maddison. And as soon as we get Maddison back, we get Xavi. So we were just thinking about the potential of Xavi and Maddison playing together, just the thought of it. Now you think, are they ever going to play together?
Yeah.
Because who knows what the future holds for both of these players. But, there's even more consequences from Tottenham's point of view, just financially, in terms of Xavi now isn't going to get a move, probably in the summer. We know Maddison's. We don't know what's going to go with Maddison and Decky, but I understand even if we go down there, wages get cut, but that's still a hefty wage. I think Xavi's up there with one of our highest earners, or our highest earner at 195 grand a week. Maddison's at 170. Decky's on like 120. Even if you halve it, those are still significant wages we're paying to players who aren't even going to play, or Maddison's hopefully will, but Xavi's not going to be playing next season. So it even
he'll come back hopefully for the second half of the season.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, hopefully February time. Well, I'm trying to think. Dragoshin, he went down in February, and he played his first game when?
Dragoshin played his first game. What was it? A couple of months ago.
What was his first? Was it Champions League? No. What was his first game? His first game.
His first game was the Burnley game in January.
Burnley. So yeah, even then, when was his first start?
His first start was Man City in February.
So it took him a year to get a start. He played 5 minutes at Palace. His first squad was in December, but he didn't. 5 minutes, and then his first serious minutes was Man City. So that took him a year just to play. So that's how long it could take, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hopefully in the best case scenario, everything going swimmingly, he can be back February time. But the likelihood is it could take to March or April again to get playing.
Yeah. Oh, it's just
and the burden. But the point is, the burden. If we go down, the burden that's going to put on us financially, on top of everything, is another horrible situation. We've got so many players who are injured who are going to have to stay because no one is going to spend the money on them right now.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
we're not even going to use them. It's a ridiculous situation.
Yeah, absolutely gutting, but there's nothing we can do about it. We just got to move on and hope for the best, but things are looking more and more bleak as the days pass, basically. That's where we're at right now.
How many more injuries we're going to pick up between now and the season? Because we're just dropping like flies at the moment.
Yeah, and have been all season.
Yeah.
And have been all season. I think there was a stat I think we read out a few days ago. Since 2023, we've not gone 2 weeks without an injury. Like, how is that sustainable?
And it always seems to be our most important players. I mean, everyone's picked up an injury, as you say, but in terms of like the really serious ones, it's always every time it's our most important player that's going down with a serious injury. It's keep him out. Just as every player who seems like, okay, we can rely on these players, they're going to be the turning point, they go down with a serious injury. It's insane. It's insane the luck or whatever you have it that's going against us right now. And with our fight to stay in this league, we keep saying it, whatever can go wrong is going wrong. And this is another example of it. This is just another nail in the coffin for us. I mean, at this point, you were expecting us to go on a run, or we have to win 2 or 3 games between now and the end of the season to stay up. And how do we compete in these circumstances? We're just going to have to find a way. I mean, De Zerbi is going to have to be performing absolute miracles to keep us up from this situation.
I think if he keeps us up now, it is a miracle. It's a complete miracle if we stay up with the players that we have at our disposal. Because the players we have at our disposal, if we had this team for a whole season, we'd go down anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a relegation team, relegation quality, relegation everything. So everything is pointing towards relegation. Like I said after the game that I'm more convinced that we're going down, and it wasn't because of, we just won a game. You'd think you'd be more positive about staying up. Before the game and last couple of weeks, I've been saying, yeah, we're staying up. But these injuries are too much. It's not sustainable. It's not. It's going to take a complete miracle for Spurs to stay in this division now.
All right, I've had all the doom and gloom. How does De Zerbi approach this? What does he do? Is it just go tell, like on the left, he just comes in? Does he find a Thompson, put him on the bench, of Luka Williams, Barnett? Does he change formation? Does he change it up? And he said he doesn't want to confuse the players too much. He has to find some sort of solution to play with here.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? Do we hope Solanke's fit and maybe play 2 of them up front, maybe put Richarlison on the left?
You can't hope anyone's fit. You got to go with what you got. And right now we don't have Solanke.
Do we start getting minutes into Maddison and start getting him involved because we're just at that stage?
No, I don't think you do that either, because that's going to risk another injury and another significant injury. I think, like I mentioned yesterday, I think you've got to play to your strengths. And our strengths are being able to press and set pieces. So we got to get our biggest threats from set pieces on the pitch, and we got to get our best pressers on the pitch. We got to try and win the ball high up the pitch, because we're not going to be breaking anyone down. What players do we have to break teams down? We don't. So we need to nick the ball high up the pitch and hope for turnovers, and we need to be as big as a set piece threat as possible. So that means having the likes of Bentancur, having the likes of João Palhinha, having the likes of Mickey van der Ven on the pitch at most of the time, and having the likes of Lucas Bergvall, Matthijs Tel, and Richarlison, and Conor Gallagher. We need to play with those players from the starting lineup, in my opinion.
It's such a difficult situation. There are no good options here.
No, there are no good options. But at least we do have something where we're one of the best set-piece teams in the Premier League this season. So that's a tool in our locker. João Palhinha has scored 4 or 5 goals for us this season, majority of them coming from set pieces. Bentancur always seems to be a set-piece threat, nearly scored from one at the weekend. Mickey van der Ven has scored a number of goals from set pieces this season. We've lost one in Coutinho Romero, who was obviously a big set-piece threat, but set pieces are going to be a big tool for us. We need to lean on that. And we've got good pressers. Lucas Bergvall's a good presser. Conor Gallagher's a good presser. Richarlison can be a good presser. So we need these players to be able to win the ball high up the pitch and hope for these turnovers. I think that's the only way we're going to score goals. I can't see any other way we can score goals.
It's going to have to be every game is just going to have to be a slog. It's going to be like the Wolves game. It's just going to, I think, we were hoping we were going to see some more of some of the football we saw against Brighton, but I don't know how. I don't know how we're going to manage it unless Tell can find a new level somehow in these next 4 games to really step up. Unless we can get Moani somehow playing. Richarlison, he's the only one who's obviously the one who seems to be able to put the ball in the back of the net or cause a bit of problems. We need Gallagher. We need players who are just not contributing to start contributing. We've needed it before this injury, but now one of our main creative players who we're relying on for chances created, now he's out off the back of Kudus, who was our most creative before he went out, and then when it went to Xavi, now he's out. Gallagher needs to step up. Tell needs to step up. Moani needs to step up. We need them all. Bergval.
You're looking at our team and players available. The amount of goal contributions or goals, let's say goals, that we've got in our team. Take Richarlison out of it, who's our top goal scorer and scores 9 goals. Tell, how many Premier League goals has he got? 2? 1? 2?
3.
3. Gallagher, 0. Moani, 1. Bergval, 0?
He got 1 against West Ham, didn't he?
So 1. Bissouma, 0. Gray, 1?
2, I believe.
2. Paulinho, 4. Bentancur, was it 0 or 1?
Did he score this season?
Maybe it's 0. Souza, 0. Dragoshin, 0. Van de Ven, what has he got? 4. Danso, 0. Spence, 0. And Porro, 1 or 2? I mean, that's not many goals, man. And that's over the course of the first 34 games of the season, and we're hoping for them to pull through for us in the final 4 games.
One theory, some people suggesting the championship ends next week. Could we recall some of these players now? Well, now their loans are done. Is there anything that can be done there? Lancashire, Donnelly, something? I don't know.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
If that's possible, we have to. We've got to do everything that we can to recall. Wasn't there a situation where last year or 2 years ago, Dane Scarlett was in a matchday squad for us last game of the season when we loaned him out?
I think I remember that happened, didn't it? I'm pretty sure that happened. I'm pretty sure he was on loan, and then because it ended earlier, he was able to come back and play.
Yeah, I think it did happen. I have a vague memory of that.
Because they're also, I don't think they have to be registered in the squad because they're Tottenham Academy players. So I don't think it's a question of.
No, you don't need to register them.
Anyone in the chat know? Because I think if that's the case, could these players out on loan come back and save us? Is that what we're going to have to rely on? I think that's a possibility.
How many games do Rangers have left?
I don't know about that.
Rangers have got 4 games left.
Yes.
So they don't finish till mid-May. Is it the last game of the championship this weekend?
It says, DCAT says, yes, you can pull a player back. Yeah, they can be recalled. Yeah, so next week's the last game. And then that's it.
So who have we got that can actually make a difference for us this season? I think Will Lancashire.
Maybe
who
Donnelly.
Else? Jamie Donnelly.
You got can you get Tyrese Hall? You've got Phillips. What's his name?
Akramich.
Akramich. He's been scoring goals.
Yeah, but this is all like League 1 and League 2.
You know what? When Makeda broke into United, those few games, I know he never really made it, but he played a few games, got a couple of goals, and that's what won the league. I know it's a different scenario. Alfie Devine. I'll give them all a go right now. I think, especially looking at the forward players, I think, for sure. I think you've got to be creative. And you've got to think, if these guys are scoring, I mean, Lancashire, to be fair, he scored 1 in the Europa League, didn't he?
When's the Bundesliga done?
When's the Bundesliga? Good question. I think we might have to start looking at the academy, or these players come back on loan as genuine options here, because we're that on our feet at the moment. We're that short. You know what? I wouldn't be against 10 minutes, 20 minutes to go. We need a goal. Swing Lancashire on. Why not?
Lancashire's scored for us in the Europa League last season against Galatasaray. Yeah. I would definitely give Lancashire a go right now. 100%.
Got 12 goals in
with what he's showing at Oxford over the course of the season, particularly over the last couple of weeks.
He's a confident lad.
Get him in. Get him in right now as understudy to Richarlison.
Donnelly scored at international level.
Well, yeah, he did.
He did. What, against Wales? Was it Wales?
Yeah. Can't remember who. Yeah, I think it was against Wales.
Yeah, he scored against Wales. Not bad.
I'd bring both of those back in the frame right
back.
now. 100%.
Get him back. Divine's been getting goal contributions. I mean, we don't really need Divine. He's one player we probably don't need, but I think Lancashire and Donnelly potentially.
Divine is actually a player that can pass, though. Like, I wouldn't say no to Alfie Divine right now.
We just have so many midfielders.
Yeah,
he's probably the least player.
But he can play 10.
Yeah, potentially.
We don't have a number 10.
Yeah. So, I think that is something. Maybe like get Lancashire. If Solanke, if we fear the worst and Solanke was out for a few games, then I think we have to bring Lancashire back.
Yang Min Hyuk.
Yang Min Hyuk.
Can he come back in?
He's not getting any minutes at the moment for Coventry.
So look, there are options coming back for us. Whether we utilise, I think it'll be stupid not to at least have them in the squad. Be so stupid.
I think it would be ridiculous if you have Madison on the bench and not Lancashire.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean, why would you do that?
100%. But there'll be more spots on the bench anyway than Madison. But why not bring in a Tynan Thompson as well? Like, bring in these guys. These guys can potentially make an impact.
Yang can't come back because he's played for 2 teams already.
Right.
Okay.
So's Donnelly.
Donnelly can't come back either then. So just only Lancashire.
Yeah.
Ashley Phillips.
We don't need Ashley Phillips. We need forward players. We need players in the forward line. Our defence is fine. I don't have too many problems with our defence right now. I think we're defending well. It's those forward players. That's what we need desperately. And Will Lancashire seems like the best candidate so far. Maybe with an Alfie Divine in there as well. I think that's who you're looking at. Those 2 players.
What a story that would be. Lancashire coming back to keep us up.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe this is his Harry Kane moment.
Maybe. Yeah. We sold him. Yeah, I don't know.
There has to be a callback clause in the loan agreement. Yeah, but if the season's over, then the season's over, isn't it? But I guess technically the loan would be until July, wouldn't it?
Would it?
Or June. Well, technically they always do it till June, don't they? But I don't know. If the season's over, they're not playing again for them, why wouldn't it work?
I think, but what happened when Dane Scarlett came back that time? I'm pretty sure that happened. Did it not happen? Dane Scarlett was on loan and he came back and he was on the bench for us last game of the season.
Well, last season he was on loan, then came back to us in January. That was different.
No, not that. I'm talking about the season before, I think it was.
Season before... I do have a vague memory of it, but I can't remember exactly.
Does anyone remember that in the chat when Dane Scarlett was on loan and he came back for the last game or 2 of a Premier League season?
Let's see, Dane, it might be on transfer. It must have been that season under Ange, let me see.
Ben, do you know we are minus 11 goal difference? Yes, I do know we're minus 11 goal difference. I am very aware.
Let's see.
But I'm saying, under De Zerbi so far, our defence hasn't been too much of an issue.
Yeah, it's been fine. Not conceding too many chances. Okay, so he was on loan. He was in the Championship at Ipswich. And then he was on the bench. He played last game of the season against Sheffield United.
Well, yeah, and he was on the bench the game before that.
Oh no, but he left in January. So he was back. He was back in the second half of the season.
Oh, he came. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there was
doesn't quite
another.
work.
Wasn't there another situation where he was literally on loan and we were surprised that he was in the squad last game of the season? What about the season before that?
Under Conte. He was at Portsmouth.
Am I just making this up?
I have a vague memory of it, but I don't know if it was Scarlett. I have a vague memory of someone, but it doesn't seem that it happened in this season.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just an absolute mess, and we just seem pretty screwed. Let's hope that we're gonna get some divine intervention, and maybe that's in the vein of Alfie.
Delhi still available?
Delhi, bring Delhi in,
Why
man.
not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not? No, De Zerbi said he can play in the number 10.
De Zerbi,
Yeah.
let him
He said
play,
he was
man.
a 10. Why not?
Get anyone in right now.
We're absolutely our wits' end.
Yeah. But look, it does bring up a wider question and debate right now about what's actually causing all these ACL injuries. And there's been a lot of suggestion about retractable pitches. I've seen a lot of people speaking about it over the last couple of months. And look, I don't know. I don't know the mechanisms behind it. I don't know the reasons for it. But there does seem to be some similarities between Spurs and Real Madrid right now in terms of these ACL injuries. And Spurs and Real Madrid are the only two clubs with retractable pitches. Real Madrid had Rodrigo, Carvajal, Alaba, Militao twice. Thibaut Courtois did it, but that was just before the stadium opened. And a youth player, Juan Martinez, all done their ACLs since Real Madrid's new stadium has opened. And Spurs have obviously had, since the new stadium has opened, how many ACLs have we had? Bentancur, Dragoshin, Maddison, Xavi, Odebear. Is there any more?
Kulusevski,
Perisic. You know what I mean? Significant injuries. Is this just coincidence, or is there more to it? Is it to do with this retractable pitch? Why there are so many ACLs going off in these two clubs? Because it's unheard of to have this many in this space of time.
Correct. It's unprecedented.
And so why is it happening at Real Madrid, and why is it happening at Tottenham, the only two teams with retractable pitches?
There might be something to it. I was talking to some fans over the weekend, and one of the fans was putting to me a theory about these retractable pitches, that because there isn't actually enough soil underneath the grass in these retractable pitches, because they've got to be a lot thinner than actual normal grass pitches, that can lead to a bit more strain on the knee, because the way that your feet plant it's a bit more solid, because the way your feet plant in the grass, rather than when these other grass pitches are a lot more soil underneath. I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. I mean, that was his theory. Who knows? I mean, look, I would like to think, in a perfect world, Tottenham have spent billions of pounds on this stadium. They got the top kind of groundsman in to lay these pitches. They spent millions and millions of pounds doing it. I would like to think
the groundsmen know about injuries and ACLs. You know how to cut grass.
Yeah, but I'm sure. My point is, I'm hoping that they paid a lot of experts lots of money to think about these things, about the likelihood of all these things happening. Knowing Tottenham as well, whether this is something they've overlooked is entirely possible, because there's a lot of things they've overlooked.
It's bad though, because these are two of the richest clubs in European football. Real Madrid, obviously the biggest, and Tottenham, who are in the top 10 richest clubs in world football.
Yeah.
How is this happening to these two clubs specifically? And nobody else. Literally nobody else. Only the two clubs that have retractable pitches. It's just mad. Can it be a coincidence? I don't know if it can. There's got to be something more to it. There's got to be.
A lot of teams have ACL injuries right now. Google it, says TJ.
But as many as these two clubs? Maybe a club will get one. But like 3 in a season, both these clubs have had.
You'd have to do an analysis on every team and how many ACLs and how much of an outlier are us. Definitely, we are an outlier, I would say. I think having that many in the space of 3 years, that is unheard of. Another chat said we don't train on the pitches, though, we only play on them.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, with Real Madrid, their training ground, it's not a retractable pitch, but it's a pitch to mimic the Bernabeu. So it's a very similar pitch.
Mm-hmm.
They've had So Spurs, the majority of our ACLs have not actually come on our pitch. A lot of them have come at away grounds. But with Real Madrid, the majority of them have actually happened at the Bernabeu, and one of them happened in the training ground. So I'm not sure what to make out of that. This overview here from different sources say the retractable pitch systems installed at Real Madrid and Tottenham are currently under investigation following a high incidence of serious knee injuries, particularly ACL tears among players. Since the installation of the new pitch in 2023, Real Madrid have recorded 7 ACL tears. A significant portion occurred at home or during the training on surfaces designed to replicate the stadium's pitch.
Who's that according to?
So this was, I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is, but there's a few different sources. I haven't heard about it either.
That would be pretty big news, I would have thought.
Engineering and safety issues. What this says is that reduced soil depth, unlike traditional pitches which typically have 10 inches of soil over a drainage base, retractable pitches are designed to be lightweight. They consist of a few centimeters of soil resting on top of a solid metal plate. The thin layer of soil can lead to rapid compaction, forming a hard, dense surface directly beneath the top layer of turf. When players make quick turns, this setup reduces the required give in the ground, leading to stud entrapment, where the cleat gets stuck rather than releasing, which generates high torque on the knee joint. The compacted nature of these retractable trays is said to mimic the high friction characteristics of artificial turf, which is associated with increased ligament injury rates, particularly when compared to softer, deeper natural turf. I'm not sure where all this information is coming from.
Are these people's theories, or is this looks like they've taken someone's theory and just said
it does seem like that. I'm not sure what these videos are. One of them is from Sporf or someone.
Sporf.
And another one is from some YouTube channel.
I mean, the theories are just theories, but in terms of the actual being an investigation, that would be...
The investigation isn't for Spurs, it's for Real Madrid.
Right.
Real Madrid apparently they're investigating. Tottenham,
and I think it should be investigated. I think no stone should be left unturned right now with what's going on. And if there is a question about the retractable pitch, it should be asked and it should be scrutinised. And I think they should test it and they should see if there's actually legitimacy to this theory. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly if there is anything to it, but I think definitely it's either a heavy coincidence or there's something to this theory, for sure. And with the amount of damage it's been done to us, and as I've said before, knowing Tottenham, it wouldn't surprise me, is yes, we've spent millions getting the best people in the world to lay the pitch and all this kind of stuff, but it was the priority making the pitch easy to move and quick to move so that we can get as many events in as possible, or was the priority to get this pitch the most ready to for elite sports we played on and lacking of risk of injuries and things like that? Was that made a priority when making this pitch? And knowing Tottenham, there's a highly likelihood that was likely secondary or maybe not even considered as a possibility that a pitch could be laid in such a way that it could heighten the risk of injury. Did they even consider that? I would like to think they did. And maybe if you spoke to Levy, who's in the room right now, he would say, of course we looked into that. Of course we spoke to all the professionals and all the best people involved. And we considered everything. And this is the picture we came up with. But maybe in those rooms it was overlooked. And maybe it was like, okay, if we could use this soil, but it'll make it a lot harder to make the pitch retractable. Or we could use this and the soil will be a bit thinner and it'll be maybe a bit harder underneath, but it'll make the pitch a lot more retractable and a lot more easier to get a lot of events in. Maybe that's the way they went in. I'm not in those rooms. We're just speculating. This is wild speculation and theory at the moment. There's nothing to it. But at the moment, the evidence, not evidence, but the correlation that people are drawing is there, that the two teams who do have retractable pitches have a very high number of ACLs. Now, it's also important to note Simmons, Maddison, Bentancur were not at home when it happened. They were all away from home. But Perisic, Kulusevski, who else has done them? Dragoshin, they were all at home.
Odegaard was at home.
Odegaard at home as well. So of the 7 we mentioned, 4 at home, 3 away. So I don't know.
But it could be as well because they're playing so often on that pitch, it takes a strain on the knee as well. That could be another theory.
We haven't seen any opposition players do their ACL on our pitch, have we?
No, but they play there once a year.
Mm.
We play there 19 times minimum a year. So it could be, and obviously every season as well. So it could be something that just takes its toll on the knee.
There are no such professionals as a medical pitch inspector. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's something no one's considered. Maybe it has. Maybe it's, I'm not saying a medical pitch inspector, but someone who considers when you lay the pitch, how you lay in such a way that doesn't heighten the risk of injury. I'm sure that's something people consider. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that they just thought isn't a thing and they've just not considered it. And maybe that's led to this situation where they've laid a pitch which actually increases the pressure on your knees without realising. It's entirely possible.
It is entirely possible. It says here, while some reports suggest injury crisis might be linked to crowded modern football calendar, a growing theory amongst researchers and observers links the pitch mechanics directly to the spikes of ACL tears. Again, I don't know what the source is of that, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, we don't know. We're just speculating and looking what the internet is saying, but it does seem to be...
Yeah, Kulu got injured on a bad tackle, that is right. Didn't seem to be anything about his...
And Odebear's was an impact injury as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Although there is also another thing we haven't spoken about, which is also seems to be a theme, which is Dragusin, Kulusevski and Xavi all got back up and were doing a bit of running and jogging and whatever before they realised they'd done an ACL. I think Kulusevski and Dragusin actually came on the pitch. Xavi at one point looked like he was going to come back on the pitch before he fell down. I mean, look, are these medical people doing their job properly? How are they making things worse with some of their checks? I don't know. And it seems something a bit crazy with that, though.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be just like all these things all rolled into one. You know what I mean? It might not be just one thing being the big kind of reason why it's happening. Definitely the schedule, the footballing schedule is hampering a lot of teams. You know, it's not just Tottenham. We're getting the worst of it. But the football schedule, you know, going from the World Club Cup all the way to the World Cup, you know, there's no break for players. And so obviously there's going to be a big upturn in injuries, isn't there?
Yeah, I think when you look at the injuries across football, which has definitely been a problem regardless of ACL, although there has been an uptick in ACL in general, but we are getting more injuries because there's more games. Not only is there more games, the games are more intense than they've ever been. Every footballer is now an athlete. Every manager demands more and more running. You know, they want to run more than the opposition. And as each team runs more, there's more running to be done. It's a bit of a crazy situation. So that's why in the Premier League, every team is now so physical and so athletic because you just need to be to get that edge now.
And it's not sustainable, and they keep just adding more games to the calendar. They just redid the Champions League to add more games into the Champions League and the Europa League and the Conference League and
Club World Cup.
Yeah, it's everything.
That. The World Cup is even bigger now, and everything. More games. The Nations League, they added that in.
Even like pre-season friendlies are played with more intensity now than they used to be. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just crazy. Like these pre-season friendlies, they're worth so much to the clubs. They get paid so much to go on this tour, that tour. So they want to put on a show for the customers that are coming to see it. And even them, I've noticed in the last couple of years, have been played with more intensity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you remember that Newcastle game as well? You know, post-season friendly Spurs did in Australia. So, I mean, something's got to give. Regardless of the pitch thing, regardless of that, that is the first thing that they need to look at as well, this schedule for the footballers, because it's just going to get worse and worse, these injuries.
100%. It ain't going to let up. I agree with that. But yeah, look, with the medical department as well at Tottenham, I mean, we seem to get it worse than any other team, though. And it's been going on for years. And what do we... Again, we've spoken about the medical department so much over the last 2 or 3 years, which is not something we want to be talking about as a Tottenham fan channel. We're not experts in the medical field. We don't want to be talking about how they're handling these injuries, but there has to be some sort of a problem here, like how we're handling them, because I know Xavi necessarily wasn't this case, but there's been so many cases this season of players coming back and getting re-injured. There's been now so many cases of players having ACLs and coming back onto the pitch. There's been so many cases of general injuries as well. Like, are the medical department doing their jobs? Are they doing it to the best ability? Are they the best people for the job? Are we just extremely unlucky? And every single injury we're getting, there's nothing the medical department are doing, and they're doing the best they can. Or is there lots of things they're missing out on here? Are there things they're not doing properly? Are they not getting these players prepared in the proper way to make sure they're avoiding injuries? Are they bringing them back too early? Are they making sure that when they're brought back, they stay back? There's so many issues going on. We've also heard from so many players, well, not heard directly, but we've heard from other people that these players don't rate the medical team. They've gone off to other external people to get their medical treatment.
Yeah, when Romero came back from that injury, he thanked the Argentinian medical department for getting him back fit.
We've heard Richarlison doesn't rate them. There's a lot of people don't rate our medical department, which is nuts considering the amount of money this club has, and to surely the medical department right now should be seen as the most important thing. It's probably even more important than a transfer budget right now, is getting this medical department correct, because it doesn't matter how many players we sign, we keep losing them all to injury. So this medical department is failing at its job. 100%. And now, this is not me saying they don't know what they're doing in there, or they're all clueless. I don't know. Maybe if you go inside there, they'll explain how everything's just really unlucky. There's nothing they can really do. But from the outside looking in, from what a medical department should be doing, they don't seem to be doing their job.
No. They seem to be doing more hurt than good. That's the reality. They're supposed to be healing our players. It seems like they're doing their best to not get our players back,
Even Sarr, he just came back from a shoulder injury, and he's done the same thing, and he's back injured again.
Yeah. What a mess. What a mess, man. If we didn't have enough problems, we have to worry about the bloody medical team at this club.
Tango says, no, Sim, we employ educated and trained medical professionals, not witch doctors. They can't make the players invincible. Blame players for being weak pussios.
Oh, that's rubbish.
I think when a player is coming back from a certain injury and he returns and re-injures that same injury, I don't understand how it can't be on the medical staff when that's happened repeatedly. It's happened repeatedly, time and time again. Mm-hmm. That has to be on how they're recovering them and when they're bringing them back. That has to be on them. I don't see anyone else it could be on when it's happening so often.
Yeah. Yeah, look, there's different things that go into it in terms of managers as well, and are they fighting against the medical team to get the players back quicker? Don't know. It's hard to say.
I'm sure they are. All managers want their players fit, and they're going to try and push them, but it's on the medical team to be strong. It's on the medical team, because when it's happening time after time, the medical team at some point have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, I agree. I think most cases are probably on the medical team, but there was that case with Van de Ven that Ange clearly said, it was his mistake.
Yeah.
So is that on the medical team?
Yeah.
Why?
I think they have some blame. They should have said, look, if you're going to play him, you take him off, or you don't play him.
They did. They did say that to him.
Okay, so that was one element that was an Ange mistake. That was his mistake.
So were there other kind of examples of stuff like that?
But it's repeated. It's just not. These aren't one-off examples. These are repeated examples. I don't see, and it's different managers as well.
Yeah.
I don't see how it can just look. Every manager, of course, wants their players fit, and they're going to try and push them. And that was a very specific scenario, that one. But I think in general, when it's happening repeatedly, the medical team have to take responsibility. If they're either allowing it to happen, or they're not doing it properly so that when players do come back, they're staying fit. They have to take responsibility for that at the end of the day. They can't just keep getting... If it is happening, that they're just getting pushed over by managers, and this keeps happening because the managers are pushing it, then even in that scenario, the medical team have to take responsibility for allowing it to happen and not putting their foot down at some point. They have to.
Mm. Whatever's happening, it's an absolute mess, and they need to get to the bottom of it. ASAP. Otherwise, this is just going to keep happening and keep happening. We'll end up getting into the championship and getting a whole squad injured in the championship, and then get relegated from the championship.
Yep.
Mad.
And we get more games next season out of the championship, which is, they say it's one of the toughest leagues to get out of because of just a relentless schedule.
Mm. Yeah. Anyway, it's hard to put your finger on exactly what is actually going wrong because we don't actually know. But it's easy to point the fingers. But the fingers surely have to be pointed at the medical team. Surely. We've got a couple of super chats. First of all, from who we got here first? From Southeast Coys saying, we got so many injuries. Players returning from loan will feel like new signings. If we stay up or not, don't want to see players loaned out. I'd rather have players complain to the media about lack of game time than this.
Yeah, 100%. This is a ridiculous situation. And I wish we had players complaining, saying, "I wish I was picked," because everyone's available is being picked at the moment. We don't have a situation.
If we would have kept Mikey Moore, he actually would have played such a significant part of this season.
Yep.
L'Apprentice says Enoch, Vinay, Lange will use injuries and not being able to sell players as excuses for not executing the big summer plan, hanging us dry as usual. Yeah, probably. How many of our players are actually going to be injured throughout the summer that we can't sell? So Xavi will be one. Odebear will be one. Who else?
Kudus.
Kulusevski.
Potentially Kulusevski, yeah. That's 4 big earners.
But I mean, if we were to stay up, we probably don't want to sell those players anyway.
If we were to stay up, yeah. But if we were to go down, it's like it's double trouble. So you got 4 high earners.
Imagine though, like we can't sell these players, and the majority of them will be back for next season. Like, what players they have in the championship, though, man?
And
so how is this possible? You could have the likes of Mohamed Kudus and Xavi Simmons playing in the championship.
It's insane. Remember Madison potentially.
God, if you can't get back up with those players,
we could absolutely look. To be fair, you got teams like Burnley getting 100 points. If we've got that team, there shouldn't be any reason.
With De Zerbi as well.
With De Zerbi. We could be up by February.
Could be up before Xavi even comes back.
Exactly.
Malware says, light tunnel train. It's never-ending cycle with this club. So annoying.
Yeah, it's so true. And we just got a bit of positivity, you know? Every time we get a bit of positivity, the next day we get just an absolute smack in the face.
Yeah.
Like every single time.
No, I know, it's mad. When's the last time we won without getting like a major injury in a game?
It's like you can't trust anything at the moment. We'll probably stay up and then get a point deduction or something. It's like everything. It's all crazy. Every time you think there's a corner turn, there's something positive happening, it all just backfires every single time, just a day later.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of your comments then. We've got quite a few to get through. Reacting to your comments once again. Big up to the We Are Tottenham TV army. Let's get into it.
Pat L 154 says, how are Spurs fans so optimistic? They're in the same position as Friday, but now with 2 less attackers.
I don't know who's been optimistic since the game.
This was a comment on your post-match video.
Post-match video? I literally said in the post-match video that I'm less optimistic about staying up after the win than before the win.
It's not pessimistic enough.
So, I don't know. I've been optimistic before the game, but after the game, man, I felt like I was like being negative. That's what I felt, just because of like I've been saying we've been staying up. But after the game, and since then, I just can't see us staying up.
How do we win these games? Maybe they'll surprise us against Villa and these players will turn up. But at the moment, it's like, even though we've been waiting for that win, and everyone, De Zerbi is also ever said, just one win. Like, we're so focused on this one win. This one win finally comes, but we got it at such a cost, it doesn't even feel like a win.
I know.
It's so crazy.
If Everton would have held on,
yeah, maybe.
Then there would be a bit more optimism because we'd actually be outside the relegation zone. But then West Ham scored at the end and even a bigger killer blow.
But maybe the power of that win is bigger than we think. We'll see.
You need players being able to get to do something on a pitch, though.
It's true. It is true. Northbridge 23 says, okay, so no Simmons. We have Bentancur, Basuma, Bergvall, Gray, Gallagher, and Sarr for midfield. No Solanke. We have Moani, Tell, and Ritchie. Enough players to get threes. I'm guessing he means 3-pointers.
Yeah, but who's going to get the goal contributions there? We need Ritchie to have the 4 games of his life in these last 4 games. That's what we need. And he's since De Zerbi's come in, he hasn't been great, has he? Let's be honest. That first game, he looked a threat, but
Sunderland, Brighton, he didn't play. And then yesterday, again...
He started Sunderland.
No, Sunderland he played. I'm saying Brighton he didn't play.
Yeah.
And then...
and he came on against Wolves and just didn't do much. He got an assist, to be fair.
That's the thing with Ritchie. He doesn't have to be playing well to contribute, does he? So that's something with him. I think we just need Moani and Tell to somehow pull something out of the bag here. We just need them.
I've got more faith in Richarlison pull something out of the bag than them two.
Yeah. But you never know. Maybe they'll have their moments. Maybe this will be it.
It's got to be.
But in terms of the other players, I mean, look, midfield is covered, and I think Bentancur with Basuma or something has been doing all right. But that we need. I think Gallagher's a big one. We know he can score goals. We need to be getting him in those positions. If he can go on a late run to now and the end of the season, maybe he could be the guy to pull us out of it.
Got to pray.
Phil Croft says this game showed just how competitive Spurs could be in the Championship. Top half for sure.
Oh, God. I can't believe this is actually happening.
Based on that game, are we going to be all right in the Championship?
Yeah, I think Wolves will probably be fighting at the top end of the Championship.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Rob Edwards, I think he's going to get them into a promotion fight for sure. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, yesterday was probably a good thing. You've seen the 2 teams that are going to be fighting at the top of the end of the Championship.
Be a title decided next season.
Yeah.
Paul Morley says, as a Leeds fan, I can say we are not safe. The fan base have seen Leeds collapse so many times that the fans are eternal pessimists. Hopefully we have done enough, but it's not over, and the team are fully aware of this.
I would say as it stands, it's not, but Leeds' next game is Burnley at home, or I think it's at home. And if they get 3 points in that game, which most likely will, I think it will be over. However, you never know how big the hangover of the FA Cup semi-final can be.
Yeah.
So there is that, but I think if you're any betting man, will be putting money on Leeds that game. Burnley are just losing week in, week out, so it's hard to see a way that that Burnley can get any points. But it's a game of football at the end of the day, and if the unthinkable happens and Leeds do lose, then it is wide open. But I can't see them losing.
Yeah. Well, if Leeds lose and we win, it's 3 points, isn't it? But I find that just there's
a lot of moving parts.
I mean, I find that situation incredible. Stuart W says most likely outcome: no more wins this season. Villa lose 2-0, Leeds 1-1, Chelsea lose 2-0, and Everton draw 0-0.
So he's getting us to score 1 goal from now to the end of the season.
1 goal, 2 points, and that's.
And that will seal our fate.
I mean, given our attacking options, is it that crazy to suggest we only score 1 goal?
Probably not, no.
Probably not. I mean, it sounds really pessimistic, but it's like, is it actually that unlikely? If you're just looking at things objectively.
I know.
If you're doing like an algorithm, that's probably what the algorithm would suggest.
Maybe.
We need something that just is completely out the bounds of logic and mathematics and trends but that is football. Sometimes things go completely against logic and trends, and you just pull something miraculous out the bag. Usually, when you look at those things, it's over a long stretch of time. But over
Everton did that at the back end of that season. They stayed up. They were terrible up until those final 3-4 games of the season, and that was enough to save them.
We're going to need something special.
And who did it for them then? It was Richarlison.
Exactly.
So it's time to step up. Richie has to step up.
If we step up, we reckon we're going to be talking about this season for years to come, the Great Escape.
I think we're going to be talking about it for seasons to come, saying, don't ever let us get back in that position ever again.
The famous story of how Tottenham saved themselves. Leviath, God of the Labyrinth, says, Ben and Sim are in complete denial. I accept the situation already, picturing the EFL badge on the shirt, probably sponsorless. On the upside, We can get more games of football. We change scenery, get humbled, and our boys will get to play. With Lancashire, Moore, Scarlett, and Donnelly, we actually have better attacking options. These guys aren't wankers. They will turn up.
Mm-hmm.
We're in complete denial. I think this was off the back. We did a video about looking at the relegation fight, and maybe we were like giving ways we can still save ourselves.
Yeah.
I guess we were trying to be. I don't think we said we would do it, but I think we were trying to be like giving positive scenarios.
I said we'd do it. I've been in complete denial, and I've been open about my denial. I've been completely open about it. For the past 3-4 weeks, I've been saying, yeah, Spurs are staying up. I just can't envisage us in the Championship. And even so, I still can't envisage us in the Championship, but I can't see us staying up. Just can't see it with the players that we have available and the games that we have. I don't know, man. We need 2 wins out of these last 4 games minimum, maybe even 3. So maybe he was right. We were all talking about last week. They were saying we need 4 wins to stay up. And I was saying, nah, it's never going to be 4 wins. Maybe it is.
I was saying ages ago when people were saying, yeah, if you get 35, 36, I was like, nope, I think it's going to be a lot more than that. I think someone could potentially go down on 40. I think that's the chance that might happen.
Yeah.
But he says you can already see the EFL badge on the shirt. You can envisage it. Not for you, not just yet.
Nah, I can't do it.
Not going to order it just yet.
Haven't even had it in my dreams yet. My nightmares, I should say.
But he says Lancashire, Moore, Scarlett, and Donnelly, we actually have better attacking options, and these guys aren't wankers. They'll actually turn up.
There is a part of me that is quite excited to see the Hotspur Way graduates play for Spurs in the Championship, because I think they would cook.
Is it guaranteed to happen? That it's just going to be a squad full of
No, it won't be a squad full of them, but I think a lot of them will get significant game time.
Because I feel like people just think, oh, we'll go down and it'll just be the Tottenham Academy 11, and that's how we're going to get back up. I don't think it's ever that simple.
It's not going to be a Tottenham Academy 11, but like I said, a lot of them will get significant game time, in my opinion. I think the likes of Donnelly, Lancashire, potentially Devine, Janai Byfeld, I don't know, these kind of guys I think will get quite a lot of game time. Mikey Moore.
Do you think when we sign players, we will sign players who are like Championship signings, who are just easy to get us up, or do you think we'll only sign players who we think can also play in the Prem?
I think we might sign 1 or 2 for the season. We'll hope for the season.
Like Adam Armstrong's, Barry Bannon's. These
I don't even think we'll need them. Those kind of signings with the squad, because it depends how many players leave. Because we've already said, like, the likes of Odebert, Kudus, Kulusevski, Xavi, like, these guys can't leave. They're going to be injured over the summer, but they will still play a significant part of next season. So I don't know actually how many of those signings we're actually going to have to make, as well as the academy players.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're only going to sign players if we also think they can play in the Prem. I don't think we're going to be signing just Championship ready players.
What players that will come that will think they're Premier League players?
Well, I don't know. Some would if they see an opportunity. Like
What's an opportunity to play in the Championship?
But come to a big club and come be part of our rise.
What a great sell that is!
It is. Sometimes you get players who wouldn't ordinarily. You think it would be difficult for them to come to Spurs, but they see an opportunity.
Like what kind of players are you talking about here?
Younger players potentially who maybe Tottenham are a bigger club of where they're at. Maybe in other circumstances we wouldn't be going for them, but because we're in this situation, we're going for them. They see an opportunity to
players that basically the clubs like Newcastle and Villa and Arsenal, United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea basically don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying we're going to sign world-class talent, but I'm saying talent with potential that maybe we would have overlooked in other scenarios, but now they have an opportunity to join a club like Tottenham they wouldn't have gotten before. Agent Tapster says the 5 stages of relegation: denial, anger, bargaining, depression. You are here. and then acceptance. So we're
You know what?
We're getting close to acceptance. He's saying.
Yeah, I think you've been at acceptance for a while, to be honest. I think I'm definitely at depression right now. Denial I was at for a long time. I don't think I did it in that order, though. I think I did anger first, and then I went to denial, and then I had a short spell at bargaining, and now I'm at depression.
Yeah, for how I see it at the moment, like, I don't know what accept. Look, I think I've accepted that the most likely thing that's happening is we are going down. I've definitely accepted that a long time ago. I'm still holding out hope that we can turn it around and we can stay up, of course. I don't know where that if this acceptance means you just don't think it's possible at all, because I think maybe you never know. I don't think
acceptance is you've accepted we're playing championship football next season.
Yeah, I've accepted that's the most likely scenario. I've accepted that's probably going to happen, and I'm not at peace with it. I'm not happy about it, but that is the truth, and it's been the truth for a while, to be honest. I definitely, especially when after that Sunderland game, when we had another major injury in De Zerbi's first game, I was like, oh God, okay, I just don't think we're ever getting out of this. Then obviously I got a bit of hope over Brighton and Wolves, but the injuries have just been relentless. These relentless injuries are just compounding. I mean, how do we ever, even in the positive, even with the steps, it's like we're having steps back with things that aren't even in our control. Usually you can, when there's one step forward, two steps back, it's because you screwed up yourself and you've only got yourself to blame, but that's not even happening now. Like, we're having two steps back because of things aren't even in our control. Let's just hope a miracle happens, but yeah, I feel like I'm at acceptance.
Where are you at? Where are you guys at? Let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah, put in the chat. Let us know in the chat what stage are you guys at. And then last comment, Lewis4929 says, quote, he's quoting you, Ben. He says, I generally think we can beat Villa. Levy Jr. cracks me up.
Levy Jr.
He's laughing.
You know what? You can bring all the quotes that you want. Don't call me Levy Jr. Man. That's the worst thing of them all. But yeah, look, we can beat Villa. We just won't because of our injuries. I think with the whole narrative going into the game with Villa, with Eye on Europe, I think it's going to be tight going into the second leg. I do think they're going to have to rest players. So if we're going to beat Villa, this is probably our best opportunity to do it.
We need to shithouse it somehow.
Yeah, I think we can do it. I still believe that. But look, it's a tall order. But we can do it. Of course we can.
I've got a really weird feeling that West Ham beat Brentford. If that happens, even if we beat Villa, you're still looking at thinking, bloody hell. If we go into that Villa game with the pressure of we have to win to avoid going like 4 points behind or whatever, I don't know if we do it. If we win with the chance of maybe going above them, I think we maybe do it.
I think if we go into that West Ham Arsenal game 2 points behind, I think that's a good scenario.
That'd be an amazing scenario.
That means we just got to match West Ham's result this weekend for it to happen.
All right, that's it.
All right, those are your comments. That is our live stream. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers for the depression. Come and depress off with us, guys, and we'll see you later. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.